What's up, everybody? It's Keith. You're watching another GhostCultMag.com live stream all over the web. Hopefully my microphone's working this time, unlike yesterday. Babylon Sun is here. We are live streaming everywhere via StreamYard, except TikTok, but I'm hanging out with y'all on TikTok anyway. We are trying out a new format here where we're going to try to do a live every day this week and recap some of the crucial news of the day leading up to our weekly news show every Thursday or Friday. And thanks, Babylon Sun. Stephanie Montoya is here. Once again, trying out a new format where we go live a little more often. Your mandatory attendance is not necessarily required and mandatory, but we're going to try this out anyway. It seemed to go very well over the weekend when we streamed live a little bit more. And we're going to give this a shot. And what we are doing today is just, again, we're going to recap today's, big stories, at least as far as I see them, and see how it goes. We'll try this out every day, and every day will be a little bit different, and then our final show of the week will be a little bit different, of course. So concerts going crazy hard. A ton of amazing rock and metal concerts, and even a festival were announced today. We are in the thick of the end of the year stuff, and a lot of 2025 news and things are being announced to shows and festivals as far as next fall. Albums are being announced every day now, especially for Q1 and Q2 of 25. Tell me after we do this or before we do this if any of the stuff announced today is exciting you and that you plan to go to it. But let's just talk about it. Obviously, we used Guns N' Roses for the cover, so let's just talk about it. GNR announced they took a whole year off in 2024. Really kind of didn't talk about anything. Charlie Chaos 669 is here. What's up? What's up? Debbie is here. And so GNR took off for 2024. Slash had a solo album and a huge tour where he was celebrating the blues and blues music and blues covers. Duff had his new album Lighthouse come out about a year ago, and then he put out a deluxe edition, and he's done some extensive touring. He also wrote and performed with Jerry Cantrell a little bit, and he was in Jerry Cantrell videos. So the different GNR members have been doing stuff. Both Duff and Slash have promised new music at some point still on the books. Mel So Cool is here. Curtis Neff is here. So GNR has announced this insanely named tour, and I want to make sure I don't fuck it up. Let's just blow up this screen for a second. You don't have to see me all the time. Because what you want and what you get are two completely different things. Because what you want and what you get are two completely different things. I don't even understand what this title means. The poster is super interesting. They did a bunch of variants of this poster with the classic Appetite for Destruction monster machine chewing up the world. I don't know if that's an actual sly reference to Appetite for Destruction, which does have it passed the 25th anniversary not too long ago. They have a 30th anniversary, but it's not for 3 years. But just, super interesting. They took the year off, and now they're back with a huge tour. Wadester is here. Kenneth Lando is here. Keaton Ricker is here. Cynthia Thompson's here. Papa B is here. And so GNR booked basically a tour of the Middle East and all of Europe. No dates yet in North America and South America, but I actually believe that's going to get announced probably within a month or two for next fall. They basically have dates up through the end of July at Vakken Open Air. Starting in Saudi Arabia, they're playing Abu Dhabi for the first time. Bands are starting to play the Middle East a lot more, especially these super wealthy oil nations. We saw Metallica play Abu Dhabi for the first time and Saudi Arabia for the first time last year. These openers are next level. GNR by itself always puts on a great show, however you feel about the band. GNR headlining, usually a 2 or 3 hour show. Some dates, I wish this was the lineup for every date, but some dates have Public Enemy as the opener. Amazing. Still vital, still great. The Vintage Vu is here. Patty is here. Rival Sons, one of the hugest growing rock bands in the world, and kind of like a throwback old school rock band that should be on tour with the Guns N' Roses. Nice for them to take that band out. And on the European dates, and this probably includes some festivals, Sex Pistols with Frank Carter from Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, now on hiatus. Again, here's another iteration of this tour poster. So you can get a better look at the Appetite for Destruction monster chewing up the world, and the Earth. The globe has G and F and R on it. Of course it does, because that's their whole game. That's their whole calling card. So, who's excited about Guns N' Roses coming back after a year off? We might finally get some new music. GNR likes to release new music in February. I will say the last few years they have put out a series of singles that were basically rehashes of leftover songs from Chinese Democracy that have been heard before and been floating around. And the current Guns N' Roses, including Slash and Duff and Fortis and Frank Ferrer and Melissa Reese and Dizzy Reed, worked on these new versions of these older songs. But we want new Guns N' Roses music. I would settle for a covers album, a Spaghetti Incident 2. I would settle for an EP of brand new kick-ass songs where we would hear one or two of these in concert alongside the classics. We just want some new music. I think this is probably one of the few legacy bands people actually want to hear them do new music. And Circle of Rhinos is here. I'd be kind of scared of a Circle of Rhinos in real life. Maria Anselmo's here. Hi, Maria. How are you? So thoughts on GNR coming back strong. Again, I definitely expect the South American and North American dates to be announced. I would expect this tour to last for at least a year. They definitely were struggling toward the end of that tour to sell tickets. They canceled some shows. I think they were just kind of burned out from the excessive touring. The Not in This Lifetime original reunion tour from 2016 to the pandemic was at one point the biggest selling tour of all time, and I think now eclipsed by Taylor Swift and a few others like BTS and stuff. But just wow. GNR back. Yeah, I think it is. I'll just say Axl before we move on to System of a Down and their huge announcement. I'd say like the band is fantastic. I saw GNR twice on that reunion tour across different eras. And Axl, listen, I don't know anybody that's like almost 60 that can do what they used to do when they were 25, but I'd say Axl can hit all the notes. Maybe doesn't have the power he used to have, but his range, especially his falsetto for the high stuff, still there. Hey, Brandy Lucas, what up? So, GNR coming back. I believe we'll get North American and South American tour dates added soon. System of a Down, again, we keep thinking like, oh, they're going to be retired. They don't like each other. They don't get along. I saw them in the summer at that Golden Gate Park show. It was phenomenal. They played to 50,000 people, co-headline with Deftones. And then they were kind of like, Serge gave a bunch of interviews where he was like, this is it for a while. I don't want to do this anymore. I got my solo career and composing, and my book is out, and photo show, gallery shows, and I don't want to do System. And then, boom, System announces 3 stadium tours, 3 stadium shows by themselves, co-headline with other big bands. But again, we keep talking about a recurring theme on this show and my other podcast, the Glacial Musical Podcast, is who is the next generation of stadium and arena headliners. And if there are any, I don't know that this is going to be forever. I think in dribs and drabs, there's that deprivation strategy, the scarcity of System of a Down, the scarcity of System of a Down. They were supposed to do that big tour with Faith No More and Korn. Did not really happen due to the pandemic. Sort of only happened a little bit. And then they did Sick New World twice. And obviously their absence from Sick New World this year was well felt and noted. And so System announces these 3 shows with co-headliners. I love these posters, by the way. Tell me how you feel about the absolute baller posters for this. I would love, be kind of a fun thing as a System fan to go to each show and collect them all and then frame them and put them up in your house. System of a Down and Korn at MetLife Stadium, August 28, 2025. Polyphia and Wisp are opening every show on these 3 shows. And I love the King Kong imagery. I don't know if any of my New York people are still there. If Alamo Drafthouse is still open in Brooklyn, I know they went through some tough times. And if they are still indeed opened in Brooklyn, they had like a King Kong Empire State Building thing you could kind of take photos in front of. I definitely did. There's a photo of me somewhere. Konging out. The second show is System of a Down and Avenged Sevenfold. Very good, evenly matched 2 bands from around the same era. That's at Soldier Field. Soldier Field still has sold out. Metallica, and they had Rolling Stones this year. So Soldier Field, August 31st, right before football season. I'm sure the Bears are thrilled. Pretty cool. I love this poster with the classic kind of Chicago Broadway with fans lined up to get to the show, and the infamous whatever that's called now, the Sears Tower or whatever it's called now. Mount Michael Jordan, whatever. Pretty cool. And then System of a Down, Deftones, probably the best one of all of these. And again, I appreciate anybody watching on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. Thank you for being here. System of a Down, Deftones at Rogers Stadium in Toronto. Again, Polyphia and Wisp. This is a really cool, just a very cool poster. Very Close Encounters of the First kind vibes. I'm here for it. Let me know if you're going to go to these shows. System, I know a lot of people have somehow not seen them. They definitely haven't over-toured and still haven't come to Europe in a while. They did a European tour. Again, I saw them 2 years ago and they played a 3-hour set. I saw them this summer and they played about a tight hour and 20, hour and 30, and it was pretty great. All the hits, deep cuts, everything. People were really stoked. So people are still a lot of excitement. And by the way, there's been a lot since I mentioned Sick New World and System of a Down, which they are connected to that festival. Swervy is here. The Sway is here. Sway. I don't know what the. Sorry, buddy. Kristen and Lisa's here. What up? What up? So, we were talking about Sick New World getting canceled, and oh my God, Metallica and Linkin Park, we're going to split $5 million there. That's about what they're worth. I guarantee you System of a Down for a stadium show, which they have not done many of, ever. Probably never as a headliner that I can recall. System of a Down is going to bring in make $3 to $5 million playing this show. So that's what they're worth. That's what they're worth. I'd say $2 to $4 million at least. Judas Priest added more dates to their upcoming tour. Actually, it was just literally right before I went live. There was a blabbermouth story about this tour. Shield of Pain had already announced. Invincible Shield is the current Judas Priest album out earlier this year. They already had announced a bunch of dates in festivals. Now they added 2 more huge dates in their home of the UK. This is a great shot of Rob Halford as shot by Kim Hansen. That System of a Down photo was also by Kim Hansen for Ghost Cult. And yeah, they added these 2 new shows. And then right as we went to, here's one of them. And with direct support from Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, basically playing their brand of Motorheady metal, Scarborough Open Air Theater. The other show is also equally huge that was added to this tour. And then Halford just gave a new interview where he said, we're not going to play the entire album just to set expectations correctly. I don't know if we're going to do a handful of songs, a medley, one song, and then a bunch of other songs, but they are going to be supposed to be celebrating Painkiller on this tour, but they're not going to play the entire album. Maybe people are getting tired and maybe it's played out now for bands to do entire albums live, but hey, it's me again. So maybe that's the thing where they're just getting tired of. They're just getting tired of, hearing a full album playthrough. But okay. Here's The Used. It's kind of funny how every emo and metalcore band from the last 15 or 20 years now looks like a bunch of divorced dads. Bert here in this photo, I'll just blow it up for one more second. Bert here in this photo looks like his wife is about to nag him from another part of the house and go, honey, make sure you go to Walmart and get the tiki torches for the barbecue this weekend. Okay. He's just destroyed by life. But anyway, The Used has announced a huge 30th anniversary tour where they're going to play all 3 of their records. They're going to play 3 shows in every city, a full album playthrough in every city. I think this is actually kind of neat. It's novel. In that case, it's novel. We're just saying maybe people are over it, but at the same time, here's The Used who are absolutely going to do it. So I think it's pretty cool. They definitely have the UK and other places on here. I know a lot of people have been complaining about no Australia tour dates. They are doing Australia. So kind of fun. Kind of fun. Here's Kerry King. Earlier today, Kerry King announced a full headline tour of Europe next summer, which also includes metal festivals like Dynamo, which Ghost Cult covered this year. Again, as Kerry continues to push out his From Hell I Rise album music with his solo band, which includes Mark Osagata of Death Angel and Phil Demmel and Kyle Sanders of Blood Simple and Hell Yeah, and Bo Staff from Slayer on drums. Slayer has at least one show next year, probably going to be some shows. Be interesting to see if Slayer also booked summer festivals for next year, and if Kerry did double duty where he was playing kind of the same festival with two bands. I could see him doing it. Why not? He only works 1 hour or two a day. He could do it. And that's the tour, and a very cool evil tour poster. Kerry King, European Tour 2025. I really can't have imagined him leading his own band and it not being called Kerry King. I know he was really reluctant and didn't want to do that, but I think it's interesting. It's inherently interesting. Heavy Underground Sweden is here. The Argonaut Band is here. Broken Jaw UK is here. Thanks for being here. A couple of people have popped also into good old TikTok. TikTok under fire. It's possible it may be finally rubbed out. There was some legislation that got passed through where TikTok may be going away. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And then let's see a little bit more news. I did this, unlike the order these usually run in our weekly live stream, I did these in the order they were announced. Since some of these we had up early overnight and some of them were announced when I was sleeping. Korn will headline Hellfest 2025. Hellfest has always been one of the grand happy festivals of European metal festivals. This lineup is insane. I think since they missed a year and then they did kind of the double weekend year, that was just absolutely bonkers. I know the pressure is on Hellfest to kind of always match Download and the other European Wacken and the other European festivals, but Hellfest always a big mix of rock and metal. Korn, Muse, Scorpions, Linkin Park headlining. Other headline-ish bands, Electric Callboy, Within Temptation, Judas Priest, Fuck Falling in Reverse, Epica, Dream Theater, Sabotage, A Day to Remember, Motionless in White, The Helicopters, Sex Pistols featuring Frank Turner, Turnstile, Knocked Loose, Exodus, Leprous, Fola, Deathclock, Jerry Cantrell, a special guest to be named later. But Korn, have been a proper European festival headliner for a while, and Muse as well. So this is pretty cool. Scorpions, I think this is their kind of victory lap, right? Scorpions got a handful of shows, a residency in Vegas, a hometown show in Hanover, Germany, and then not too much else, I think, on the books beside these festivals that are getting announced. So I think this is their farewell, their unofficial farewell run. Snow Moon 13 is here. Howard Moon is here. All right. And then last and not least, maybe not the most obvious Ghost Cult artist, but this is Lauren Mayberry, the vocalist of Churches. Churches is a band, sort of dancey electro rock band with a little bit of pop that we have covered quite a bit in the past. So she just released her debut solo album, or her new solo album, Vicious Creature. That's her debut solo album. She just performed on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Not as much uproar as Knocked Loose had. Her new song is Something in the Air, and she's announced basically a world tour, but starting with the USA in early January at House of Blues San Diego, and that tour runs all through the West Coast and the East Coast and Midwest, and then back to the West Coast again, closing down at the Belasco Theater. So basically a 2-month tour, 8-week tour. And Vicious Creature, here's the album cover, which I thought was like a super interesting nod to the movie Metropolis. But yeah, Lauren is awesome. I'm very excited for this new record. I might try to go catch that tour in January. We'll see. There's already a lot of shows on the books for early next year. And I think that's it. Just a reminder, please like and subscribe if you're brand new here and you enjoyed this. We post live streams all the time. We post a weekly live stream news show, long form stream. We post interviews with bands. We preview every week's New Music Friday coming out. This week will be the last one for the year, even though there's still some albums to come this year. We're just taking off a little time from producing these videos, but make sure you follow us on all the things. This will also be a podcast I am Keefe from GhostColdMag.com. Dead Alive just jumped in at the last second. You can always watch the rebroadcast Dead Alive on Twitch and YouTube and podcasts. I'm Keefe from Ghost Cold. We'll be back later on or tomorrow. Thanks, and we'll see you soon. Peace.